Hello and welcome. Tonight, Tribunal strikes out petition by PDP candidate against the election of Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani for lacking in merit. Allied People's Movement files 10 grounds of appeal at the Supreme Court seeking nullification of President Bola Tinubu's election. And to err is human, to forgive is divine. And that may have informed Governor Godwin Obaseki's decision to accept a public apology from his deputy, Philip Shaibu, over the face-off between both men.
On Business News tonight, fears of global inflation resurfaces as benchmark oil price climbs close to $100 per barrel amid sharp drop in the U.S. crude reserves.
On Sports News tonight, reigning Italian Serie A champions Napoli break silence on viral offensive TikTok video of striker Victor Osimhen as they insist the intention was not to mock the unhappy Super Eagles forward.
And from the nation's capital, federal government appeals to organized labor to shelve its planned nationwide strike action.
And in international news from London, the leader of the self-declared Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh has said it will cease to exist in the new year.
We begin in Kaduna State, where the State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate in the 2023 election, Mr. Issa Ashiru, against the victory of Governor Uba Sani of the All Progressives Congress, APC, for lacking in merit. In a dissenting judgment of 2 against 1, the 3-member panel headed by Justice Victor Oviawe dismissed the petition on the grounds that the pre-hearing notice was filed out of time and therefore deemed to be abandoned by the petitioners.
The tribunal has dismissed the petition filed by the PDP. That is the ruling of the tribunal in the morning. But, you know, by the provision of the Constitution, they are required to also consider the petition on merit. So on merit, 2 of them said that election is supposed to be conducted in 22 polling units because the number of the voters there exceed the margin of lead. But they have said that the PDP wanted it to be declared as the winner of the election. The tribunal said that they have no proof that. They allege that there are corrupt practices perpetrated by APC. They said they have no proof that. So in essence, as of today, the PDP petition is dismissed by the tribunal. Unless PDP appeal to the Court of Appeal, then we now know what will happen there. But the petition has been dismissed.
The lawyer, however, has a different view on the interpretation of the judgment.
One way or the other, but we are still going to test an arm of the judgment too. It's okay. It's brilliant because we believe the materials we placed before is sufficient enough for the court to have even declared our candidate the winner of the election, because we know PDP won the election in Kaduna State.
But that means you're not satisfied with the judgment.
Well, I cannot say we are not satisfied or we are satisfied, but then what I'm telling you is we'll go into this election and definitely we'll come back victorious. It's based on the facts placed before it. Court arrive at decision based on the submissions and argument of lawyers, and the majority of the tribunal judges decided that the election was inconclusive, and one judge affirmed the election. So, and the decision, but the majority decision of the court is that the election was inconclusive.
In the meantime, the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Uba Sani, has been speaking on the judgment of the Kaduna Election Petition Tribunal. The governor says he is extremely delighted and humbled by the ruling of the tribunal and is also extending a hand of fellowship to the PDP candidate in building the state. Governor Sani, who also expressed his belief in the judiciary, was speaking on our political program, Politics Today.
Of course, I was not surprised because throughout the tribunal sitting, our lawyers were briefing me about what was happening, and as someone who was part of the Electoral Act in this country, don't forget that I was in the National Assembly for 4 years, and I was among the people that actually sat down together and amend the Electoral Act. So I know actually PDP do not have a case. They did not present any witness from any polling unit that actually was able to make any case or prove that the election was not free and fair. So that was my position, and I was focused and I was not really distracted. I also called on Issa Ashuru and the PDP members in Kano State to come and join hands with me. What is more important is moving our state forward. Like I said on the 29th May when I was sworn in, that the issue of politics is over. It's about governance. And of course, in the last 3.5 months, we try as much as possible to carry everyone along.
Well, as far as the PDP candidate Issa Ashuru is concerned, the tribunal's judgment finds merit in the aspect of his case relative to the margin of win between the two leading candidates. While urging his supporters to remain law-abiding, he says he will pursue the appeal process. In his explanation of the tribunal judgment, Issa Ashuru says even though the tribunal, based on the majority of 2-1, upheld the preliminary objection of the APC to the effect that the application for pre-hearing was done prematurely, the court also pronounced on the merit of the substantive suit, which by a split decision of 2-1 nullified the election of Governor Sani and ordered that the certificate of return be retrieved and fresh elections be conducted in some polling units in 4 local government areas, and the outcome be reckoned with before the declaration of the winner of the governorship poll in Kaduna State. Staying with the courts, the Allied People's Movement, APM, has filed a 10 grounds of appeal before the Supreme Court of Nigeria, challenging the decision of the Presidential Election Petition Court, asking that the victory of President Bola Tinubu be nullified. In its notice of appeal filed by its new counsel, Chukwuma Machuku Ume, the APM is asking the Apex Court to set aside the judgment of the Presidential Election Petitions Court for what it describes as its numerous errors in law. It says that sections 131 and 142(1) of the 1999 Constitution are inextricably linked and neither can be confined as a pre-election matter, as these qualifications are conditions precedent to for being elected into the office of president. According to the party, the PEPC abandons its duty and jurisdiction of hearing and determining the APM's question of if President Bola Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima were validly elected to the office of President and Vice President under the Constitution, as stipulated by Section 239(1) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has fixed October the 3rd for judgment in a suit filed by former federal lawmaker Mr. Smart Adeyemi, challenging the conduct of the Kogi State governorship primary of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Mr. Adeyemi is challenging the validity of the election, which produced Mr. Usman Ododo as the party's flag bearer for the November 11th governorship election. The Apex Court also dismissed the appeal by a governorship aspirant of the All Progressives Congress in Kogi State, Mr. Abubakar Achimogu, who is also seeking to nullify the same primary. Our judiciary correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
The Supreme Court is the last stop for a former federal lawmaker, Mr. Smart Adeyemi, in his attempt to stop the Kogi governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Mr. Usman Ododo, from participating in the November 11, 2023 election in the state. Mr. Adeyemi, who represented Kogi West Senatorial District in the 9th Senate, is claiming that the results that saw the emergence of Mr. Ododo is fraudulent and invalid on the ground that the primary election was conducted in only 11 out of 239 wards in the state. He had participated in the election, and his grouse is that the provisions of the Electoral Act and the guidelines of the APC were compromised during the exercise. While adopting his final address, his counsel, Mr. Musibau Adetumbi, argued that the primary election of April 14 was conducted in gross violation of Section 84 of the Electoral Act 2022. However, the counsel to Mr. Usman Ododo called for the dismissal of the appeal on the ground that it has become academic because the 180 days within which APC can conduct another primary for the nomination of candidates has since elapsed. After taking arguments from other parties, Justice Iyan Okoro, who led the panel of justices, announced that the final judgment will be delivered on October 23rd.
The matter was taken for argument by their lordships. We strongly believe that by the time our briefs are read and the appeal is looking to on merit, then we'll have that as the report of the INEC, exhibit APC 4, said it loud and clear that there are no elections 228 wards. That's our own feel. It's our feel. So, but we are waiting for what their lordships are going to say.
Main issues we have brought to the Supreme Court is very simple. The Section 24 of the Electoral Act says primary election should be conducted word by word. It was not conducted by word by word. It's on their table there. The second issue we brought here was that the result that was filed was just for 11 wards out of 239 wards. You know, you don't have to be a lawyer to understand our point of argument. After 239 wards, they brought only 11 result of 11 wards. That is less than 2% of the total number of results anticipated.
Back in the courtroom, the panel dismissed the appeal by another governorship aspirant, Mr. Abubakar Chimugu, seeking to nullify the same election. Mr. Chimugu's argument is that Mr. Ododo is not qualified to participate in the exercise because he did not resign his employment with the Kogi State Public Service 30 days before contesting the election. After the case was dismissed at the lower courts, Mr. Chimugu withdrew his appeal and the case was subsequently dismissed. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
It appears the rift between Governor Godwin Obaseki and his deputy, Philip Shaibu, may be nearing its end, following the governor's declaration that he has accepted the public apology of his deputy. Mr. Obaseki, in a statement he personally signed, says he hopes the apology is genuine. He, however, advises the deputy governor to check the excesses of his proxies. According to the state governor, the apology was sequel to an aberrant behavior that contradicts what the people of Edo State stand for. He lamented the discomfort that some of the actions of the deputy governor caused him. The statement reads in part, "Although these unwarranted provocations caused me severe personal discomfort, as a person of faith, I am under obligation to accept this apology because, as they say, to err is human, to forgive is divine." Governor Obaseki expresses the hope that the action of his deputy will end the distraction to delivering good governance to the people. In part two, after the break, in continuation of our focus on President Bola Tinubu's economic agenda, tonight we look at the government's plans for security. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Tribunal strikes out petition by PDP candidate against the election of Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani for lacking in merit. Allied People's Movement files 10 grounds of appeal at the Supreme Court seeking nullification of President Bola Tinubu's election. To err is human, to forgive is divine, and that may have informed Governor Godwin Obaseki's decision to accept a public apology from his deputy, Philip Shaibu, over the face-off between both men. And the leader of the self-declared Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh has said it will cease to exist in the new year. Since its independence in 1960, Nigeria has been plagued by various forms of insecurity that may have affected its citizens and its overall development. In continuation of our countdown to the country's independence, our correspondent, Emperor Simon, in this next report, takes a closer look at the country's security situation and explores the efforts being made to improve security in Nigeria.
Nigeria, a country immensely endowed in natural and human resources, is no stranger to the challenges of insecurity. Terrorism, banditry, kidnapping for ransom, and separatist agitations are among the issues threatening the country's sovereignty.
Within the span of 10 years, up until 2023, my consultancy, using the database that we keep, we documented 78,000 deaths within Nigeria. Now, 78,000 deaths in 10 years is extremely worrisome. So if we use metrics and going by this number of 78,000, then it's very clear that sadly, security needs to do more.
Successive governments and security authorities have attempted to address these challenges. President Bola Tinubu, on assumption of office, announced that his administration would prioritize security, among other things, following which he appointed new security chiefs who have pledged to achieve results.
I can assure Nigerians that you have the best team ever, and we're ready to work and we're hitting the ground running.
The renewed hope agenda of the present administration on security comprises 6 components, which include redefining military doctrine and practice, securing critical national infrastructure and borders, as well as repositioning the police. The government also plans to create anti-terrorist battalions, upgrade tactical communication and transportations and weapon systems, as well as improve the salaries and welfare of security personnel. While there seemed to be some level of success, attacks by armed men and kidnapping of innocent citizens in various parts of the country have continued unabated.
One of the challenges is that none of these cabinet ministers has a security background. So we're a little bit concerned about that. They need to bring in security experts with credibility around them who can help them in achieving these stated objectives. The second point is what I talked about earlier on, security sector governance and security sector reform. I would strongly urge the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration to look closely at these 2 issues. The coup d'etat wave that is going around the West African sub-region. The only way to block that is to implement full and comprehensive, effective and efficient security sector reform.
For some analysts, there is need for increased funding for security in the country, while ensuring accountability in the utilization of the funds.
Security requires adequate funding. I agree with you that trillions of naira were budgeted for defense and security. But is it sufficient? It's not sufficient. The primary purpose of government is welfare and security of the people. So we must accord priority to that. I can tell you that while we are not succeeding in fighting this insecurity, it's as a result of corruption. So for me, to advise the president, you must be sincere and serious in fighting corruption.
Beyond the various security strategies being deployed in tackling this menace, many say government must address the root causes of insecurity. That is, by implementing policies to promote economic development, eradicate poverty, and reduce inequality, in addition to the provision of quality education and job opportunities for the teeming unemployed youths in the country. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
Let's get some more insight into how to tackle the country's security challenges, and we're now being joined by the managing partner of Next Year, Dr. Ndu Nwokolo. Thank you for joining us on the News at 10. Give us your perspective on the general security situation in the country.
Thank you for having me. From
an insider perspective, you know, I don't want to frighten Nigerians, but I would rather put it mildly. I would say it's not too good. Too good in the sense that from the time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over till date, we've not really improved to the level that we will say, yes, we are doing a lot. The kidnapping are still going on. The banditry is still going on. The fatality and every other aspect of insecurity in the country have not really reduced. So for an instance, just only last week, we recorded from our next year database, we recorded about 70 fatalities, of which 69 persons were killed and 1 person injured. Within the same period, just only last week, about 51 persons were kidnapped. So if you look at all these things, it still shows that we still live in a state of insecurity, and the government needs to start doing things about that and start doing it very fast.
All right, the administration of President Bola Tinubu has laid out a couple of plans to address the challenges of insecurity. Dr. Nwokolo, what do you make of the government's efforts so far?
So from, you know, when the report by Emperor was going on, he read out a lot of things. But if we look at all those things, there were some components which we are actually missing. And I think these are the ones that will connect all the dots. The peace-building component is not there. So if you look at the level of insecurity in Nigeria, most of them are about lack of inclusion, exclusion, poverty, and so on. Yes, one may say the government is trying to address issues of inclusion, but what of issues of peace building? These are key. For an instance, if you sit down and take every aspect of violence, conflict, insecurity in the country, you will see that these are issues that we need to address, not really from the kinetic part, but pure from sitting down, human security, and then talking to the people. Most of them are issues you can really address if you build that peace-building component around it and start trying to talk to the people. And I think that's the best way to go. So let's even take one or two of them, for an instance. If we look at the banditry going on in the Northwest, or the farmer-herder conflict going on in the North Central, have we really sat down to look at the peace component that will make the people to talk to each other and start reducing that element of violence, you know, that has been mopped up around the people? If you look at the issues of the Southeast, you see our issues about lack of inclusion, marginalization. If you look at what is going on in the Northeast, all of these things has to do with issues of marginalization and lack of inclusion. So I think, in as much as the government have been able to come up with measures and ways to deal with insecurity, but the peace-building component is lacking. And in as much as we do not return peace to this community, security will be far-fetched from us.
All right, so what do you think are the most pertinent issues that the government needs to focus on at this time in order to achieve results in the fight against insecurity in Nigeria? Very quickly.
So for me, I think the first thing he has to do and has to do fast is to build up a committee which will contain both those who are coming from the kinetic side and those who are coming from the non-kinetic side. And the idea is to build up people with intelligence around how to start reducing this. So for me, for an instance, there are some of these things that you do not need to shoot a gun to resolve. Some of them, all the people want is that inclusion. All they want is sense of inclusion. With that, you will start reducing those animosity and not start moving them. The other ones where the people have an ideological issue and do not want any form of peace, those ones you can deal with them in a different alternative. But for now, in as much as we do not have those peace-building components, we'll continue to go around the circle and insecurity will continue to fester around the country.
Dr. Nwokolo, Managing Partner, Next Year, we thank you so much for your thoughts on the News at 10. The chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum and Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodinma, and other governors from the region have pledged to work together in harmony for the prosperity and development of the Southeast by re-engineering the potentials in the region to meet present-day economic situations. The governors gave the pledge at the 2023 Southeast Summit on the Economy and Security holding in Owerri, the Imo State capital. The governors expressed confidence that the present security challenges in the region will soon be a thing of the past and agree that the zone must move on economically for the well-being and prosperity of the people.
It's the maiden edition of the Southeast Summit on Economy and Security in Owerri, the eastern heartland and capital of Imo State. Present here are governors of Imo, Enugu, Anambra and Abia, as well as the deputy governor of Ebonyi State, alongside traditional and religious leaders, the business community and many others.
The President General.
The organizers of the event set the agenda for this important meeting.
Ndi Igbo are here today to find solutions to the existential problems facing our homeland, the Southeast Zone, a place known for its peace and calm, its energy, its industry and innovation, is facing relentless insecurity. This has impacted on the lives of the people and the once bubbling economy of the Southeast region.
We are here to send a clear message to our people at home and abroad and to our fellow Nigerians that the Igbo nation strives to become more cohesive in order to be more effective in contributing its quota in the search for national consensus on equity, peace and development.
The host governor, Senator Hope Uzodimma, highlights some of the ways to tackle the present economic and security challenges facing the region.
The ease with which these criminals can move from one eastern state to another state reinforces the need for us to pull our resources together and to cooperate if we will be able to overcome the danger we face today.
Ideas are also shared by other governors from the zone on how to foster economic prosperity and end the security challenges.
We need a plan, because if you don't have a destination in mind, any road will take you there. I want to believe that at the end of this summit, we have a working group that will give us a Southeast plan.
We must begin to think about strategies that enable us to ring-fence the zone and to be able to deploy a common strategy and common operations plan to be able to deal with these security challenges.
Trading blames and pointing accusing fingers at others will do us no good. To solve our problems, including worrisome insecurity, requires the collective engagement of all stakeholders.
Enough is enough. We need to come home. We need to come together. We need to speak at one voice. We need to talk to each other, to encourage each other, so that all that we need in this Southeast will be done.
Goodwill messages also come in from far and near from other indigents of the zone as they call for more collaborations with the federal government to tackle insecurity in the zone.
If our big problem is ourselves, it means that the solutions also lie in our hands. If we can build a sense of common purpose and cohesion, we can solve the other problems. To do this, we need to exercise joint leadership, and that is precisely why it is so important that you're taking this step today. Our other big challenge is security. This has arisen partly from our fragmentation.
If the speeches and suggestions at this event are properly documented and implemented, it will surely go a long way in tackling most of the economic and security challenges facing the Southeast region.
As part of efforts to secure Nigeria, the armed forces say the mission against terrorists, insurgents and perpetrators of insecurity in the country is not one that should be seen as the exclusive preserve of just the military alone. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, explains that the perpetrators of insecurity are not ghosts, as they have families, relations, and are from villages and communities in the country. General Buba, while highlighting the operations of the military in the last 1 week, said the troops neutralized 191 terrorists, arrested 184 terrorists, 22 perpetrators of oil theft, rescued 91 kidnapped hostages, while a total of 104 Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists and their families surrendered across theaters of operation. Let's now head to the nation's capital, where Terry Ikumi is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Great to see you again, Terry. Over to you.
As always, Ayo, the National Economic Council has appealed to the leadership of organized labor to shelve the planned nationwide indefinite strike action and continue to dialogue and engage with the leadership of their respective states. Speaking after the meeting, which took place at the Presidential Council chamber, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State, who spoke on the issue, said President Bola Tinubu will also address the situation in his Independence Day speech. The NEC was also said to have considered other issues such as the declining revenue in sectors of the economy and the matter of palliatives for the state, among others. Our correspondent Larry Lassisi has this report.
It's the 136th National Economic Council meeting taking place in the council chamber of the presidential villa. In attendance were state governors, some deputy governors, and some ministers, while the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, chaired the meeting. The meeting took place behind closed doors, and over 3 hours later, a delegation appeared to brief journalists on the resolutions reached. The council started by calling on organized labor to shelve their plans for a nationwide strike action.
NEC is appealing for patience, is appealing for time to be able to address the concerns of labor. We also believe that Mr. President will be addressing the nation 1st October, and some of the concerns of labor will be appropriately addressed in the President's speech. And NEC is appealing that discussions should continue at the state levels, because there will be peculiarities as to the issues to be addressed concerning the demands of labor. And therefore, dialogue is the way to go.
The council also took an update on the distribution of palliatives.
Members of the council have received the sum of 2 billion from the federal government as part of the palliative. And also work is on progress by all members of the council. And the council urged members to redouble effort to alleviate the sufferings of the Nigerians.
According to the governor of Nasarawa State, the declining production of oil was also considered by council following a presentation by the Director General of the Budget Office on next year's budget.
It was asked also to go and check on the presentation on the declining production of oil, because that's one area that we said we are concerned. We cannot be having more discoveries in the oil field, and yet we are having declining production when it comes to that, because we expect OPEC actually to increase our quota, not to decrease. And so we can take advantage of the economic situation.
A resolution was also taken on the issue of electricity and energy sufficiency.
State government should encourage to carry out energy audits to determine energy needs and explore areas of collaboration with the private sector based on their competitive advantages.
NEC also received the report of the 2022 flood disaster and directed the National Emergency Management Agency to immediately intervene in affected states. Lanre Lassisi, Channels Television News.
Now, these are workers of the Ministry of Works protesting what they called high-handedness by the Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi. The workers blocked the entrance into the headquarters of the ministry, chanting solidarity songs and calling for the removal of the minister. The problem started when the minister ordered that workers who come late should be locked out of the premises. The minister later addressed the protesting workers, explaining that the lateness is affecting the deliverables of the ministry. Though he apologized to the workers, he urged them to buy into his vision to deliver on the mandate of the ministry.
I come to work and ask for files. Some of the staff are not yet in the office to provide the files. By 3 o'clock, I asked for files. Some workers would have left. So I now spoke to them. I said, can we agree, because I know the situation in Abuja, can we agree on the time that workers will come to work and the time that workers can close? And I offer that workers should come to work by 9 o'clock. That's what I offered to them. Today, I came to work by 9:30. I had a number of files to transmit because of the budget that is ongoing. We have not submitted our own. And then not up to 5% of the workers were in. I told the human resources, I need to get the attention of the workers. I needed to come and address you at the gate. We are Nigerians, and we deserve better treatment. I came back from Lokoja, 2 a.m. on 22nd. I was a day old as a minister. I shedded tears. Between Abuja and Lokoja, we have contractors. We've released billions. Our people are being kidnapped on the road. The bridge is even collapsed. Who is responsible for that? Hold on, listen to me. I moved from here, from Abuja to Benin. I stayed 14 hours on the road. You are not flying in going back to your places. You are going on this road. You are going on this road, and you need to demand a better treatment.
Some company news now. Global smartphone brand Techno has again raised the bar with the launch of its latest Phantom V Flip 5G device. The top-notch smartphone is Techno's latest foldable device, which fuses imaginative, elegant aesthetics and advanced technological innovation into a compact flip form factor, delivering a smartphone that is truly perfect in your pocket. The launch was attended by guests from the entertainment industry as well as the business and enterprise sectors.
It's a glamorous night of celebration and spectacular entertainment. Celebrities, influencers, and the upper echelon of tech and business realms are here for the official launch of Techno's awe-inspiring Phantom V Flip 5G. Marketing manager Thompson Annie takes the stage, highlighting the smartphone's qualities.
When you buy this phone, you either get a Phantom drop box, very beautiful, or you get a 2 designer perfume piece and has. At the same time, you're getting 180 days broken screen protection and also our normal 12-month car care warranty. Hand of applause for Techno.
And then comes the unveiling, led by Afrobeat sensation and Techno's brand ambassador, Tiwa Savage. At an impressive 64 megapixel, Techno says the camera has the highest resolution of any flip phone in the market. But that's not all, as the 45-watt flash charging lets users power up in a flash.
To blow your mind, this is the fastest charging flip device in the market. Fits in your pocket perfectly, very nice design. This is the first of its kind from Techno.
Isn't this cute and beautiful? Personally, I love that it's so pocketable. Like, you don't have to carry big, bulky phones when you have this, right? I like that you can fit it anywhere. You can put it in a tiny purse, ladies, right? Or you can put it in a big bag as well. Like, regardless of the bag or pocket you choose to put it, it fits perfectly.
It brings back a lot of nostalgia. Like, if you've ever used a flip phone, like from back in the days when somebody calls you and you're like, get off my phone, and then you slap it, it's really cool. But the good thing now is you have a full-size phone on the inside, right? So it's a full proper smartphone with the cameras on the back and everything. But the cool thing about this one is you can use it basically like a tripod like this, sit it on a desk or something, and then you can use hand gestures to control the phone from the back and take videos and photos and things like that.
The launch of the Phantom V Flip 5G device marks another milestone in Techno's continued exploration of new form factors and design languages to enhance and amplify the premium foldable user experience.
Kai App, a secure and innovative Pan-African digital payments platform, today announced that it has obtained necessary regulatory approvals to launch in Nigeria to accelerate access to financial inclusion by individuals and businesses in the country. As an innovative fintech product, Kai App was born out of a vision to revolutionize the financial services landscape in Africa to fulfill the need for accessible, secure, and customer-centered financial services that cater to the unique needs of Nigerians and Africans at large.
It is a gathering of captains of industry, players in the fintech subsector, high-ranking government officials and diplomats to witness the unveiling of the Kai app, a revolutionary digital payment platform built on Web 2.5 technologies. The product lead of the Kai app, Abdulghani Rufai, notes that the African fintech market is brimming with opportunities and the Kai app is poised to make a significant impact.
Kai app is not just an application, it is a symbol of innovation, a promise of financial empowerment and testament to the indomitable spirit of Africa. Join us on this journey as we redefine modern banking, break down barriers, financial inclusion, and pave the way for a brighter, more accessible and empowered financial future.
The federal government is also getting on board with the technology in view of its desire to improve financial inclusion because of its capacity to reduce unemployment and end poverty.
Through financial inclusion, we can bring more people into the formal economy. And by bringing more people into our formal economy, we stand a chance to reduce poverty. If we can bank a lot of these ordinary people, we empower them, we help them grow, we help them become something. And as they become something, your company will also continue to grow as well.
Without access to banking, you will be left behind. You cannot transact online, you cannot benefit from social interventions, government social interventions, and many more. So this will really help empower our people to be financially included.
Speech is done, the app is unveiled. One of the investors says, apart from the expected return on investment, the ripple effect of unemployment and easy access to petrol for tricycle operators is key.
We are investors. We invest money. But when we are investing, we try to see that there is people empowerment, there is uplifting the life of people, particularly the ones in the rural area.
Set to launch soon, the Kai app is built to provide secure and innovative payment services to individuals and businesses in the African market.
And it's a wrap from the nation's capital. Let's go back to Lagos for business news with Melinda.
Many thanks, Terry. Welcome to Business News. Oil prices reached the highest level since August last year today, prompting concerns that global inflation could return. Global benchmark Brent crude was up 77 cents to $97.32 a barrel, with analysts speculating that it will rise even higher before the end of this year. This increase comes sharply from a drop in U.S. crude stocks, which fell by 2.2 million barrels to 416.3 million barrels, as well as concerns over tight global supply due to OPEC's output cuts. Although higher crude price is a boost for Nigeria's oil export earnings, there are fears that it could push up the price of petrol and worsen the country's inflation. Nigeria's currency depreciated by 2.6% to 775 naira 31 kobo against the dollar at the investors and exporters window of the forex market. And that's according to data from the FMDQ, where the currency is traded. This comes as the country's financial market resumes from the one-day Muslim holiday. Traders attribute largely due to speculative activities and excess demand as individuals turn to the dollar for store value. Before today's close, the naira had appreciated by 2.35% to 755.08 against the dollar on Tuesday, the day that the Senate confirmed Mr. Yemi Cardoso as the governor of Nigeria's central bank. More than 111 billion naira has been knocked off from Nigeria's stock market value as investors resume from the Eid holiday with a hangover of profit-taking. Willie Bong tells us more.
Thanks, Melinda. Welcome to the Stock Market Report. The market definitely has a mind of its own. I was hoping for a positive close when I spoke to my colleague earlier today, but alas, investors are still on a selling spree after the one-day Muslim holiday. The all-share index dipped further for the third time this week with investors' eyes on the banking stocks. There was some buy interest in Zenith Bank, but that did not offset the sell-offs we saw in the Fugas. Don't forget to take out the Z, which is Zenith Bank. Now, consumer goods saw a reversal in gains. This index went south today just because investors seem prepared to squeeze the sweetness out of Dangote sugar. Now, the activity chart looking like you could make a Bloody Mary drink out of it. Final trading day tomorrow. Investors, I believe, are waiting with bated breath to see how the new CBN governor will go about solving the FX conundrum. Until tomorrow, it's Willie Bong signing out.
That's business news. Is back to Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Melinda. Dutch police have arrested a gunman who killed at least 3 people in twin shootings in the city of Rotterdam. The attacker was a 32-year-old student at Erasmus University and affiliate of the hospital. Here's Simon Pusey with other international stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The leader of the self-declared Republic of Nagorno-Karabakh has said it will cease to exist in the new year. Samvel Sharamanyan announced that he had signed an order dissolving all state institutions from the 1st of January. The region, which had been controlled by Armenians for 3 decades, was seized by Azerbaijan last week. More than half of its majority ethnic Armenian population have now fled, according to officials. Mr. Sharamanyan said the decision to dissolve the state was based on the priority of ensuring the physical security and vital interests of the people. Funerals have taken place for some of the 100-plus people who died in a fire at a wedding in Iraq. Thousands mourned alongside dozens of coffins at ceremonies after the tragedy in Nineveh province. The Iraqi civil defense say the fire was caused by fireworks which were set off inside the hall as the bride and groom danced. The use of highly flammable building material inside the venue acted as a propellant. Security forces arrested 10 of the venue's staff, its owner and 3 people involved with the fireworks on Wednesday. The US soldier Travis King has arrived back in the US after being expelled from North Korea following his 2-month detention. He was shown on video disembarking from a plane in San Antonio in Texas at about 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The 23-year-old reconnaissance specialist illegally crossed into North Korea from South Korea in July. Before arriving home, Private King was transferred into US custody in China and then flown to a US military base. He was detained by Pyongyang until being returned to American custody. India has imposed a curfew in the capital and some areas of its restive state in Manipur after scores of students were injured in violence following protests against the alleged abduction and murder of 2 students. More than 80 students were injured in clashes, a police official said, adding that the situation was extremely tense after armed mobs vandalized a local office of the ruling political party and hurled petrol bombs at 2 police sites. Ethnic violence has plunged the northeastern state bordering Myanmar into what many security experts describe as an intense civil war fought over land, jobs and political clout between its 2 largest local groups. Taiwan has unveiled its first domestically made submarine as it bolsters its defences against a possible Chinese attack. President Tsai Ing-wen presided over the launch ceremony in the port city of Kaohsiung. US officials have warned that China could be militarily capable of mounting an invasion within the next few years. Taiwan is a self-governing island which China regards as a renegade province and has vowed to reclaim one day. Shares in the crisis-hit Chinese property giant Evergrande have been suspended in Hong Kong amid reports its chairman has been placed under police surveillance. It follows reports earlier this week that other current and former executives had also been detained. Thursday's market statement did not give a reason for the trading halt, but it marks another low for the heavily indebted property giant, which defaulted in 2021, triggering China's current real estate market crisis. In August, the firm filed for bankruptcy in New York in a bid to protect its US assets as it worked on a multi-billion-dollar deal with creditors. The actor Sir Michael Gambon has died in hospital aged 82. He was best known for playing Professor Albus Dumbledore in 6 of the 8 Harry Potter films. Sir Michael worked in TV, film, theatre and radio over his 5-decade career and won 4 BAFTA awards. And footage has gone viral after a tornado ripped through the city of Fujian in eastern China, sending debris flying through the air. Objects and material could be seen spiralling in a vortex as onlookers filmed. 1 death and 3 injuries were reported. The latest incident in weeks of destructive and deadly weather spurred authorities to call for vigilance against strong winds in coastal areas near the Yellow Sea off Jiangsu. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thanks, Simon. And from our sports center, we can tell you without expressly apologizing to Super Eagles forward Victor Osimhen, the reigning champion of the Serie A, Napoli said the controversial TikTok videos was, in their words, never wanted to offend or mock Victor Osimhen, who is a treasure of the club. Napoli's social media account caused controversy last week as they posted videos on their TikTok account mocking Osimhen, leading to his agents threatening to take legal action. However, Napoli, in a statement released today, say expressive language in their TikTok handle is used in a light-hearted and playful manner. In the meantime, the national Under-20 women's team, the Falconers, have advanced to the next round of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifier following the withdrawal of their opponents, Mauritius. The Falconers were to fly to Mauritius next week for the first leg in St. Pierre, with the return leg scheduled for MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja on October the 14th. And that's it on sports. Ayatunde is back to you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And the main news again. The Kaduna State Election Petition Tribunal today struck out the petition by PDP candidate Isa Ashiru against the election of Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani for lacking in merit. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayatunde Balogun. You have a good night.